What's up, guys? I want to talk about business in this video. It's one of the things that I'm good at talking about, so I like talking about it. So, I'm using DIM. It's a dietary supplement to get rid of my gyno from steroids. These titties right here, baby, please, need to go. So, my skin is looking like a little bit weird. Like my complexion is looking a little bit weird. I feel a little bit weird. And yeah, winning for me was not an all-in process. You know what I'm saying? Winning for me was not an all-in process. It is like but it's good if you focus on just making money for like a little while, and then for me, I retired at the age of 30 with a few hundred million in assets. So I'm gonna pop my shirt on. So yeah, you see all the time people talking about how like I used to even talk about like go all in or all out. You know, don't go all in because is like risk of regret minimization. Is like if you go all in and fail, you know, that'd be a really shitty like heartbreak. But if you go like, you know, 75%, you know, yeah, you might be missing out on like 25%, but you know, yeah, you might be missing out on like 25%, but it's better than going all in and maybe you don't win. You know, I went all in for like a little while, but I learned pretty quickly that it's not about just money. It's about you got to have the whole package. You got to have the whole package. And so yeah, I started taking this DIM supplement, and now my voice is not as deep. So yeah, pretty much, success doesn't have to be an all-in process. Still go to the gym, still take care of your family, but probably still put like, 60 to 75% of your free time into your business because how I succeeded was basically luck, but success basically is, for me, is putting yourself in the way of lucky opportunities so that eventually you get lucky. You know, that's what success is. It's not like, you know, uh, It's not like would call it like a roulette wheel of success. And the green is like that's where the money is, you know, except actually when I was coming up, the likelihood of success was even a lot better than hitting green on the roulette wheel. You know, if you could come up with like a proper business model and if you could come up with like a proper business model, let's say 4 out of 5 businesses fail within 5 years. So that just means you have to work on 5 businesses. And what percentage of those businesses fail within the first year? I would say probably most of them, because people are not stupid, people are smart. You realize that, like, if an idea is going to work, it's going to work really fast. You know, if an idea is going to work, it's usually going to work and pick up really fast. If you think about it, you know, if your business is launched for like 3 months and you haven't made a sale, that usually means that you're not going to make the big success long term. You know, depending on the nature of the business, 90% of the time, if you're not making major sales in the first 3 months, you're not going to be making major sales in like 2 years either. So, like my first successful business, I made a sale on my second day. But I moved through like 11 different businesses in like 9 months. So, anyways, that's just like a couple little tidbits of wisdom. Speaking of tidbits, I got to take another dim capsule. Probably gonna put it in like a bottle of water. I feel like it is working to get rid of the gyno, and gyno is a fucking pain in the fucking ass. So very happy about that, and like you know, you don't have to go all in. You know, it's like doesn't have to be that way. It's just to build a habit of excellence. You know, there's a couple ways to do that. Usually, that whole bullshit that you tell yourself about how, oh, I'll start on Monday or I'll start on Friday, I'll start working on my business on Friday, is all a fucking lie. Or like, oh, when I wake up tomorrow, I'll start working on my business. Is like, you know, So, yeah, success for me was like took from the age of 19 to the age of 26 to become like a multi-millionaire. And I was like 75% in, but 100% of the time. So I have been getting welfare. I've been on welfare. I still get welfare. And well, social security, like disability. I call it welfare. Sometimes I feel like I could work a job, but other times I feel like I couldn't. And that's pretty much the fact of the matter is I can get a job, but I can't keep a job. So I'm in a very strange predicament, you know. You know, so yeah, you could call me like a billionaire, I suppose, if you consider like all the shit that I have planned for like the future, you know. But the raw value of my assets is only maybe like a couple million, maybe like anywhere between 10 and like 70, 80, 10 and 100 million, you know. So yeah, is like being becoming rich is not like a fucking like sport, you know. Is like is like in order to my strategy of winning in sports is to focus on being the best me that I could possibly be. It's simply winning is simply a consequence of being my best. You know, trying to be my best. I'm not at my best right now, but that's what winning is to me, is like a consequence of me just being my best. That's how I plan on winning in bodybuilding. That's how I plan on winning in business. That's how I plan on winning as a father, is just being my best, is just being at my best. You know, I need a fucking cigarette, is what I need. And I wonder where my buddy is, if he has a cigarette. Johnny,
Yeah.
you got a cigarette?
No, I got cigar though.
Can I have one?
Yeah.
Thank you, Johnny. Appreciate you, bro. Anyways, yeah, so you win by always being at your best. You know, you can't always be at your best, you know. I'm still like trying to unlock the science of how to be swole like all the time, you know. You know, like when you're in your glory and you see yourself in the mirror, when you're in your glory and you see yourself in the mirror, and or like when you can recall a period of your life when you were working really hard and performing really well. Like for me, this year I retired, and I find it hard to pick it back up again. You know, I don't have a good enough reason, and I don't have a good enough reason to pick it back up again. And basically, business is a competition between who wants it the most. You know, so business is basically a competition of who wants it the most. And desire, desire. I don't know where desire really comes from, but it has to be inspired by something. And like my only fucking hope in this world is to be able to provide for my family. Other than that, if I was like homeless, that would be just fine, you know. If it wasn't for me having a child, I would probably just sit here on welfare and veg out for the rest of my life. But I have like this obligation to my family to have more kids. I want to have more kids, and I want to, have a family. And I don't know if I want a wife. I really just want to be able to provide for my family, and to understand the journey of succeeding in business, you have to imagine that there's more to it than just going and trying your best. You are like elected to make money, and to be like good at business is like an elected thing, is like it goes based off of deservingness, number one. Number two is like how much you channel all that pain you've been through in your life and put it into your business and see like it's why like billionaires have some of the most miserable fucking lives, is because you gotta channel that pain. You have to channel that pain into your business. Is like how much are you willing to endure. It's not just in sports, is in business. When you're sitting at your chair and it's fucking, for me, 10 o'clock, 10, 11 o'clock at night, and I have to, and I like have to perform, you know, trying to put in like 20-hour days every single day. I even take like pre-workout while I'm working on my business, coffee, pre-workout, caffeine pills, stuff like that. So yeah, for me to be like honored as like a fucking multi-millionaire or like a billionaire, yeah, I've been through like a lot of shit, you know. And it comes from like a period of my life when I cared about it a lot more. I can't find the strength to fucking care about it anymore, you know. Not like I fear that I'll never be able to return to it because I like stepped out of the pocket for 2 fucking seconds, and you know that the best thing you could possibly do is just to like start right now. So at this very instant in time, I'm gonna step out of this video and step back into the pocket of working on my business. You know, I did like electroconvulsive therapy, and it like did a good job, but I don't feel like working anymore, and it's weird. I think it's because I started taking this fucking Adderall pill, like this ADHD medication, and now it actually slowed me down. Because I don't think I have ADHD, I think I have ADD. I didn't know that they were two different things. Or what is it, not ADHD? I don't think I have like, is like, I'm just gonna stop taking this little red pill that the doctor gives me. I begged the fucking doctor for Adderall for like 10 years and they won't give me Adderall, so they give me this like other shit that doesn't make you feel like nothing. I don't know, you know, mastered my craft, mastered the pregame. Now it's time to just like jump in and achieve as much mastery of like my craft as much as I possibly can. But I'm gonna take this blockchain course because my business is in cryptocurrency. I have like 11 businesses, and that's a gift right there. You know, that's a gift. It's like having the wisdom to know that if one business doesn't work, putting in a little bit of effort, you know, who's to say that it's really going to work if you put in a lot more effort? You know, if a business is going to hit the big time, if a business is really going to hit, you know, it's going to hit with very little effort, you know. And in a very short period of time, you know. So if on your day of launch, if you haven't made like 100 or more sales on your day of launch, or reached like thousands of customers, you're probably not going to reach like billions of customers after like 15 years, you know. That's one mistake that I made early on, is like trying to promote a business that wasn't succeeding from like the first 7 days. And then what a lot of people do is they get stuck in a shitty fucking business. And then like what a lot of people do is they get stuck in a shitty fucking business, and like you know, you just gotta refuse to lose. You know, I refuse to lose. I will do fucking anything to win, you know. I will do anything to win, you know. If it means I fucking die, or if I go to hell for all eternity, I would rather fucking do that than lose, you know. Long as I get to keep on being a fucking winner, you know. It's like pain, you know, is temporary, but victory is forever, you know. So I'm gonna get out of here. Talk to you guys later. Bye bye.